All right, testing 1, 2, 3. Okay, yes, the mic looks fine on my end. Okay, I think if we are good, I think we can start. All right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, very good afternoon. It's 2 p.m. already in Singapore. Thank you for joining us on time for another Amazon Live webinar. And today we'll be touching about account registration guidance, specifically for the setting up an account to sell on Amazon.com, the US website. So my name here is Jin Lang, and then opposite me I have Ivan from the sales operation team, with a sales operation manager from Amazon Global Selling, which will be walking us through the account registration guide today. So at any point of time, if you have any question, let us know in the Q&A box. We will try to monitor it and address it before we end the session. And then I will just go through some slides at the front before I pass it on to Ivan to continue with it. So if you cannot see the slide, let us know, or you can try to reconnect to go to webinar, all right? So moving on to the next slide. These are just some administrative stuff. Now, the session that you see now is recorded, so don't have to do any screenshot if you don't want to. You can rewatch the recording at the end of the day, hopefully, if I got time to upload before the day ends. Well, if not, you can find it definitely before the end of the week. All right, any question, please leave it at the Q&A box at your right-hand side. I believe you are connected through the web browser. So if you are watching this video recording down the road a couple months later, always check back the latest one or go to Seller University or Seller Central Help for the most updated information. Now, some important notice, take a few seconds to read. Meanwhile, I will pass it over to Eva, who's going to share promotion news. All right, so over to you, Ivan.
Thank you very much. So over to the next slide. So today we're going to be looking at how to set up your professional selling account. And today we are happy to announce that there is a fee promotion. So what we're currently offering for the next 6 months, so this promotion is going to be valid between October 4th and April 3rd, 2024. And it's going to be a promotion that essentially is going to be waiving off the $39.99 a month that sellers are required to pay. And it's only going to be charged $1 for the first month. And for the next 5 months, it's going to be $0. So we're highly encouraging everybody to sign up for the professional selling account and enjoy this promotion. Now, keep in mind that this is a promotion active for professional selling accounts. And on the right-hand side, you have the different advantages that you get essentially by signing up as a professional seller, right? So essentially, you have brand tools such as brand stores and A+ content to improve your brand conversion. Of course, you also have the amazing Amazon Product Opportunity Explorer for you to search different ASINs, search different products that might help in order to give you guys an idea on what to launch and if it's going to be profitable or not. You therefore can also use Amazon Ads to, again, improve the discoverability of your ASINs and some new seller incentives and more. Right, so here are some other incentives that we have, right? So first of all, with FBA or Fulfillment by Amazon, you will enjoy 120 days of free storage. Then more on the branded sales, you will receive 5% back in all your sales, and that is for your first 1 million US dollars. Do keep note that this is for brand owners enrolled in brand registry. Third one, which I think is actually really important, is you will get $200 US in Vine value, which will be essentially for you to get Vine reviews. Reviews are really important part of Amazon marketplaces. So this Vine review voucher, call it this way, will help you get these around 30 trusted reviews to get your listing started. And last but not least is you will get a total of 50 ad credits, which is for you to kick off your sponsored product journey and start driving traffic over to your listings. So what is Amazon's monthly subscription fee? So essentially, this is a fee that we charge on a monthly basis, and this is a fee that is only charged once you have a product listing active, right? So what I was saying before, we have this fee discount, which is going to waive off this $39.99 and just convert it to $1. So essentially, if you were to launch immediately, you would have a couple $100s in savings thanks to this fee waiver that we just launched. So again, this is to highly encourage sellers to register and launch and benefit and maximize the benefits of this promotion. Who is eligible for this fee waiver? So it's eligible for new sellers signing up, and you must be from either Korea, Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, Taiwan, Thailand, and Vietnam. And essentially, it's for sellers who register and sell on North America stores, such as United States, Canada, and Mexico. So let's kick it off on more the registration process and what to expect. So we're going to start off by giving a brief background on what is needed to start your registration on Amazon as a seller. And then we're going to go into a bit more the details on what to expect essentially for seller identity verification, also known as SIV, and the in-person verification that every seller will have to do in order to get access to their Seller Central account. Then, depending on certain algorithms that we have in the backend, you might get triggered a Postcard OTP, and this is a physical postcard that will be sent over to your address that you have keyed in the registration process. And that's going to contain a code that you will have to essentially key in to continue your registration process. And then you might be triggered post-seller identity verification, which is once you have access to Seller Central, if we detect some inconsistencies in the information that you have provided, you might be requested to provide some additional information, which is also linked to Seller Performance Review, which is a similar re-verification process that we have once the sellers have actually entered their Seller Central account. So let's kick it off with point number one. So as I was saying, there's two types of selling accounts. There's the individual selling account, which is charged on a per unit sold basis, and that's $99 US. And what the individual selling account allows you to do is essentially list and start your journey. However, there are a lot of tools that are only available for professional sellers, which is the ones that I mentioned before, such as Product Opportunity Explorer and others such as and others which we're going to go through the webinar. Now, take advantage of this fee waiver that we have. I know we state here that it's $39.99, but as mentioned before, thanks to the fee waiver that we have, this $39.99 US will be waived. So this is an overview of the registration process. There's basically 6 steps to it. You can kick it off by registering and keying in the information that we asked during the registration process. And then you're going to be triggered seller identity verification. This is where you upload certain documents, such as your identity document and a bank account statement, for us to verify that the person signing up the account is actually the one submitting the identity documents and the bank statements. You will then be triggered the in-person verification or instant identity verification, where we will take a picture or you can jump on a call with one of our associates, again, to verify that the person doing the registration is actually the person also submitting the documents. And then number 4, I said it's optional depending on an algorithm that we have in the backend. You might be sent a postcard OTP, and if you receive that postcard, just wait for it. It might take 1 to 3 weeks depending on where you're located. And once you receive the OTP, you can go back to your registration and finish off the registration process. Once you have access to Seller Central, we will be in step number 5. And there it's where we're going to be asking you to fill in information like your tax questionnaire or your bank deposit method. And I say if you're triggered what we call seller performance review, this is again when we detect some inconsistencies in the information provided through the registration process, we might ask you to submit some additional documents, again, to re-verify your identity. But we're going to go through all these processes in the next coming slides. So keep yourself tuned and ask some questions in the end if it's still not clear. So registering your Amazon selling account, it all starts off by a couple of questions we ask about your business information. So first of all, we need to know where you're located. So in the first drop-down menu, you will have to place where the person or the business doing the registration is located. For a lot of the people on this call, it will be Southeast Asian countries such as Singapore, Thailand, Malaysia, Philippines, Indonesia. But there's a whole other list that we also accept. We also ask what type of account or owner is trying to register. You can be a privately owned company, a publicly owned company, or you might not even have a company at all and you want to sign up as an individual. That's also perfectly fine. Right, so if you sign up as a company, we will ask for your business name, and please make sure that this business name is the one used and registered with your local government. If you selected to sign up as an individual, we are going to be asking your first, middle, if any, and last name. So going over to seller information, this is the person who is doing the registration and the person who is going to go through the identity verification, right? So again, key in your details. We will be asking your country of citizenship, country of birth, and the date of birth. You will then have to select an identity document that you want to submit. We currently have in the drop-down menu either passport or driving license. If you want to use your national ID or your in Philippines the UMID, that's also possible. Just select driver's license and then just key in the respective identity document that you want to use. But be sure that we do accept also those documents, even if the drop-down menu doesn't state those particular documents. Residential address, we're also going to be asking, so please make sure that the residential address you key in here is fully correct, because if you're triggered the OTP, this is where we're going to be sending the postcard. We then proceed on to PIN verification. So you're going to have to key in your mobile number and you're going to be receiving a PIN, which you will have to key in as part of the registration process. Next one is billing. We will have to have either a credit card or a debit card on file. Now, as mentioned before, you will not be charged the $39.99. You will only be charged $1, but we still have to have a credit or debit card on file. Now, you will see that under the credit card details, you have the billing address. This billing address will be auto-populated and will be matching the residential address you keyed in the previous step. Now, if the billing address of your credit card is different than the residential address, you just have to click on Add a New Address right below the billing address box and key in the correct billing address. It doesn't matter if the residential address and the billing address are different. What we just care is that the credit card that you input and the billing address need to match. So going over to the store and product information, you will have to key in an initial store name. Now, if you are not 100% sure on what to name your store, you can key in a dummy name for now, and then this store name can be changed once you have access to Seller Central. So don't worry if you don't have your final name. Again, that will be able to be changed once you have access to Seller Central. And then we have a couple follow-up questions regarding the products that you intend to sell. If you don't have any products as of now, don't worry. This is just a questionnaire which we're asking every seller, and you will just have to key in the different answers. So seller identity verification. Here's where we ask you to upload the different documents that you that are required. The first documents that we ask is identity proof. So essentially an identity document. We accept passport, driver's license, or national ID or UMID in the case of Philippine sellers. Do make sure though that the documents are well scanned in high definition, not obstructed, and in one of the supported languages which we state here. There is also a bank account or credit card statement that we ask to upload, and this is to verify again the address, right? So that also has to follow all the different specifications listed below, where it doesn't have to be expired, it has to be issued within the past 180 days, and again in one of the supported languages listed here. So this is how the user interface looks. You will have all the details that you have keyed in the gray box, and then you're going to have two buttons to include the front and the back side, and to upload the bank account statement below. Now, if you are from Singapore and you want to upload your passport, do keep in mind that you need to also submit the signature page. I'm aware that in Singapore, the signature of the passport is on a different page than the particulars. So you are going to have to submit both pages. And here we have an example, right? So if you see in the Singapore, the signature is on the first page and then all the details are on the second page. For Singapore specifically, you will have to submit both pages. For other countries in Southeast Asia, like Malaysia and Cambodia and Philippines, it's on the same page, so you just have to submit one page. And Indonesia is the same as Singapore, where you will have to submit two pages, the particulars and the signature. And I will stress this enough because this is one of the main reasons to why sellers reach out. They get rejected from SIV, and the main reason is because they haven't included their signature page. So bank statements, again, need to follow the same stipulations stated before. Please make sure that it's in one of the accepted languages and it's issued within the past 180 days. There is no magic to it. It's just a plain, simple statement, and we use it to verify the address of the seller. So what happens after you have submitted the documents? First of all, you might pass, and that's a big step, and congratulations if you pass. But there might be two different outcomes. First of all is an appeal rejection. So we have detected that some information that you have submitted in the registration and information in the passport details or identity document and bank account statement do not match. So if that's the case, we will send you a reminder, and you will need to correct the information that is currently not matching. there is another status, which is seller identity verification failed. And this is when we have detected that you have resubmitted the documents many times, but again, you have not been able to match the information in the registration and the documents you have uploaded. If that is the case, do keep note of the email that we state here, which is trmsivsesunoir@amazon.com. Send over your exact SIV issue that is stated in the registration, and we will get back to you with what is needed to proceed for your registration. So in-person verification. This is when you get on a call with one of our associates, and our associates is going to be asking you some questions. You have essentially two options. First option is to schedule an instant call, and the second option is to schedule an appointment with one of these associates. Now, we usually prefer the instant call. It usually takes around 1 to 3 minutes to go through and connect with one of our associates. And then depending on how many questions the associate may have, the call can go on from anything between 5 to 15 minutes. So this is some things that you have to have prepared before your IPV. So the documents that you have submitted, you are going to have a copy of them. So do keep a copy of your identity document, because the associate might ask you to show in their webcam the actual document that you have submitted. Make sure that you have or you're using a device that has both webcam and microphone enabled, because it is going to be a two-way communication call, and you adhere essentially to these guidelines. We support English as the main language. We also support other languages such as French, Spanish, etc. But I believe that everybody should be comfortable with English or any of the other languages that we support. So once you've completed IPD, there is going to be a delay period where our associates are going to assess the information that you have provided, and then you are going to receive the outcome, either again pass or failed. So the OTP, how does the OTP work? So if you get triggered the OTP, you will go to another page, and this page is essentially going to be stating where the current postcard is. We give you a timeline of when to expect the delivery of the postcard, and we also mention where the postcard currently is. So it might be under a preparation stage, it might have been shipped already, it might be currently on the way to you, or it might have even been delivered. On the second step, you will see that there is a field to key in the code that we send over. So there are 3 attempts. You can send the postcard up to 3 times. And if you fail to receive the postcard, either because you're not at home or because you keyed in the wrong code, etc., you can get in contact with our SPS team to state your situation, and they will resolve your specific issue. So post-seller verification. So once you have access to Seller Central, there are a couple of things that we ask you to update. First of all, is going to be your deposit method. This is how you're going to get your disbursements. Second of all, it's going to be a tax questionnaire or a tax interview, how we like to call it. And it's essentially to know if you are a US citizen or a foreign citizen. And that is essentially, again, to know if you have any tax obligations in the US. And then we're also asking you to update any emergency contact in case we have to call you for some reasons. So let's kick it off with the deposit method. Deposit methods, you can choose to have your local bank account. Just make sure that they accept foreign currency. So we are going to be paying you in US dollars rather than your local currency. So your bank has to have Forex conversion enabled. So if it is a very, very, very small local bank, we highly suggest that you get in contact with an online service provider like Payoneer, who does these services. Just as a tip, do look at the exchange rate that your bank is currently offering, and if there is any specific markup, because sometimes I am aware that local banks can charge hefty fees, right? So do check which bank is better in terms of conversion rates. And once you have decided what bank to use, we are going to be asking for the account name, the holder's name, the routing number, and the account number. So once you have completed that, again, we need you to update your emergency contact and to update your tax identity information. And this, again, it's just a questionnaire to check if you are a US citizen or if you're a foreign citizen. Essentially, for, I guess, 99.9% of the people here, you are going to be a foreign national. So there is going to be no tax obligations for you in the US. So Amazon Seller Performance Review. So once you log in, if you do see that your account has been deactivated, this is because our associates have deemed that you have provided some information that is not 100% accurate, right? So you will be able to reactivate your account. You just might need to provide some extra information, which we're going to go through in the next slide. So some common documents that we ask is a utility bill. And this again is to prove that the person signing up is actually living in the address that they have provided. Again, all the documents submitted to Amazon essentially follow the same requirements. Please make sure that it's high quality, it's colored, there's no obstructions when you take the images of the document. It has to be in one of the languages. If it's not in one of the languages, it needs to be it needs to go through a translated, notarized process, right, before submitting it. Another key thing is if you are not the owner of one of these utility bills, it's not an issue, because I believe in the next slide we have the different relationships that you can essentially give to Amazon to say that you're actually living there, just that the utility bill is not under your name. So we accept landlord and tenant relationship. What we accept is either the landlord's passport details or the landlord-tenant agreement or contract. If it is under your parents' name, that's also fine. We will need a birth certificate or your parents' passport's details. If it's under your spouse's name, then either the spouse's passport detail or a marriage certificate. And if it's under company names, we just need the business license. Where do you submit the performance, the documents? So you're going to see a section under Seller Central, which is called Performance Notifications. Under these performance notifications, you will have a blue link URL, which is going to direct you to the correct place to submit your documents. So this is how to find the performance notifications. You will go on the left-hand side menu bar, click on performance, and then you will find the performance notifications. And that's going to open a new menu, which is going to show you all the performance notifications. And this is an example of what it would look like, right? So you would receive a kind of notification or an internal email where we tell you what is needed from your end in order to reactivate your account and where to submit the documents. As you can see, there's a link, so you would click the link and submit the documents through that link. Again, and we stress this a lot, but I know it is really important. Just keep in mind that in order to successfully pass the a seller performance review, it has to be either an electricity, water, telco, or internet bill. It has to be issued within the 90 days of the submission date, and it has to include all the pages. Now make sure that the address that you have on these utility bills matches exactly to the address that you have in your Seller Central account. And these, if you follow all these steps, there shouldn't be any issues in passing the seller performance review. Again, there is sometimes that even after submitting the utility bills, one of the things that we ask a lot of our sellers is to rejoin one of our calls with one of our associates. If that is the case, in one of the performance notifications, we're going to send you the link on how to schedule an appointment with our associates. And the call is going to be very similar to the SIB call, where we essentially ask you a couple of questions and ask you to show the documents that you have submitted for your seller performance review in a physical copy. So do keep an eye out on your seller performance certifications once you've submitted your SPR, because if we need to get on a call with you, we will send you a little nudge in the performance notification center. So I think that's done from my side. Back to Liang on seller education.
Thank you, Ivan. Thank you for sharing the step and processes. I hope everyone is clear, and I think the promotion is going to be really, really very useful for those who have not signed up yet. So do leverage and utilize this promotion. It's very rare. I think it's the first time we have this kind of promotion, right? So yeah, remember to go check it out. I think on the website, if you go to sell.amazon.sg, go to sell globally, and then it's one of the top banners that you can see already clearly. Now, I'm just going to share what are the resources and guide we have from Seller University. So if you want to do a recap, or instead of watching, you want to keep a PDF copy, or you just want to get yourself familiarized again with what is being covered today, you can download the registration guide that we have over here. All right, you can scan the QR code if you want to save a copy. All right, and then for those who actually follow through and manage to get your account ready to use, you can get the Perfect Jumpstart and Launch Playbook. So over in there, they'll give you a guide like how you can launch your Amazon store from scratch in 90 days. So that covers about the things that Ivan shared earlier on as well. Things like, how can you unlock certain features by having brand registered, meaning enroll yourself in Amazon brand registry, and also some of the tools that you can use like Product Opportunity Explorer, etc. So do get these two guides. And also, once you get access to Seller Central, as you can see, a lot of resources for you. You can access the Seller University inside the Seller Central account. So over there, you can get a lot more other topics that you would like to learn more. Things like how do you create your first listing, etc. For you to understand, and also like maybe a revenue calculator, you can use it to get to know, what are the possibilities of certain product that you want to sell on Amazon.com. All right, so I have a question. So this is the question I get from the registrations I extracted this morning. So if I miss out, let us know in the Q&A. So I think this question may be more relevant for Ivan. So we got a question that says, this seller has a 4-year-old Amazon seller account. It is inactive due to the documents needed. So there isn't much info here, so we'll try to reply as much as we can assume from these. But if you are here, let us know more context if it's needed. So maybe to Ivan, how can this seller actually proceed to get it unlocked or active or something?
Yeah, so most likely the seller has been triggered seller performance review. For what I'm understanding, it's inactive due to the documents needed. We only accept utility bills, unfortunately, so you have to have a utility bill. Now, most likely they might not have a utility bill under their name, but as stated, we do accept different relationship status. So do make sure that if you don't have any utility bill which is under your name, you can also complement the information with different relationship connections through either your landlord tenancy agreement, parents, spouses, or corporations. Right, so again, unfortunately, we only accept utility bills because it is the best way to prove the address is most current. So yeah, we have these options available for this seller.
Cool, thanks for sharing that tips. All right, if you have more questions, let us know. Meanwhile, I'm going to share what are the upcoming webinar that we have. For November, you can see we have a lot of the other topic lined up. So if you're interested, do remember to sign up at our webinars and events page. All right, back to all of you. Any questions for Ivan and us? Ivan and myself. Speaking about the inactive thing, I do remember that time to time you have to kind of log in to prevent it from trigger another like verification. Like, is there like usually what's the recommendation you would give? Should we log in like every day to use the tool, or we try to log in within at least once a week to prevent it?
So there is no specific recommendation. Personally, I would log in once a week, right, just to make sure that everything is on track. More than anything, it's once a week. I think it's appropriate, especially if you're doing things in the background that don't involve Seller Central, like sourcing for your product, etc. I think once a week will help you to know that your account is healthy and up and going for the moment that you have the product ready. Then you know that the account is active and you don't need to do the whole seller performance review, because that might take a week more or less to go through in worst case scenario.
All right, got it. Thank you. So all of you do remember on these suggestions by Ivan. All right, I don't see any question. Maybe I will just ask one question for myself to Ivan before we end. So if there's a tip that you would like to share regarding registration, I know you shared a lot in the slides already. What would be the one main, key takeaway that you would give to our audience in regards to having, a successful and seamless process during registration?
Yeah, I can't stress enough on the quality of the images that you upload. Do make sure that they are of high quality and that the information displayed is not blurred, right? So a lot of the times what we get is people uploading their identity documents and the image that they took is either twisted, obstructed, and you can't really read the information on the identity document. So for me, that's just the most important one. Second most important, and I'm giving two away here, is just make sure that the information that you have put in your registration forms is 100% correct. So check it 2 times. If you want to check it 3 times, even better. Just make sure it's 100% correct and accurate.
All right, thanks for sharing this two very useful tip. A very good quality image and 100% accuracy of data, I believe. All right, so thank you everyone. We will see you in the next webinar soon. Have fun. Goodbye.